We have officially wrapped Pokémon GO Fest of 2025, and following this event is going to be a very solid week of content within Pokémon GO. So for this video, I'm going to be going over everything that's going to be going on in the game during this week and what things you need to pay attention to. Alright y'all, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So Pokemon GO Fest has come and gone, and I will say it was a phenomenal event. I did pick myself up some shinies that I've been really wanting, and of course Crown Form Zacian and Zamazenta are now a part of the game. And if you were lucky enough to get yourself a shiny with the special background, I think that is definitely something that is worth your crowned energy. I really do think it was a really good time, and I think Niantic did a really good job with this year's GO Fest, and they're also going to be doing a really good job following it up with some very solid events. So yeah, I do think we need to go over it, starting off with the 9th anniversary event. This is going to be one of those events that I actually think is a great follow-up to something like Pokemon GO Fest. The reason why I say that is because not only are they debuting a brand new shiny, but they're also going to be bringing back some fan favorites from previous anniversary events. So let's go over the details for the 9th anniversary party event, and then afterwards I'll be talking about some of the things you will need to pay attention to during this week. The 9th anniversary event is going to be starting on July 1st at 10 o'clock a.m. until July 6th at 8 o'clock p.m. local time. Yeah, this is going to be the first in-game event directly after Pokemon GO Fest Global, and the featured Pokemon are going to be Ivysaur wearing a party hat, Venusaur wearing a party hat, as well as Gimmighoul holding a 9th anniversary coin. During this event, you're going to see the following wild encounters: Bulbasaur wearing a party hat, Charmander wearing a party hat, as well as Squirtle wearing a party hat. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The Kanto starters are going to be making their return, and they're going to be wearing the party hat. This is obviously not the first time we've seen the costume versions of these Pokemon, but I still think this is all really exciting. I do know that the party hat versions of the Kanto starters are quite popular, and you can potentially get their shinies, and you can also evolve them as well. And then in 1-star raids, we're going to have Pikachu wearing a party hat. It's actually the Cake Hat version. And then you're also going to see Eevee wearing a party hat. And they're all going to have an increased shiny chance. That's something you should definitely keep in mind, because these are definitely some pretty rare shinies to get. There's also going to be a Masterwork research that's going to be available for purchase. It's going to cost $4.99 USD, and it's going to give you an encounter with Shiny Jirachi. We'll talk more about this later. Next up, let's talk about the event bonuses, because there is a whole lot of these during this event. First and foremost, you're going to have an increased chance to become lucky friends with your best friends. That is a really massive bonus, because lucky trades are some of the best ways to get yourself Shundos and Hundos in this game. You're also going to have an increased chance to get lucky Pokemon with regular trades, and then Pokestops may turn gold without a Golden Lure module, which is going to allow you to get Gimmighoul coins. And then you're going to have an increased chance to encounter Shiny Pikachu wearing a Cake Hat and Shiny Eevee wearing a party hat from raids. This is something I did mention earlier. And then Gimmighoul holding a 9th anniversary coin will have a special background for this event. And then friendship levels will increase faster than normal, and their chances of finding 9 or 99 or maybe even more Gimmighoul coins when you spin a Pokestop with a Golden Lure module is going to be active during this event. And then for the first time in Pokemon Go, you may even encounter Shiny Gimmighoul. This is going to be the debut of this particular shiny. And then there's also going to be tappable party hats in the wild, which I'm assuming is how you're going to get the Kanto starters. I'm assuming this is going to work very similar to Applin, where, you know, with that Pokemon, there's apples all around the ground, and if you tap on it, you could potentially get an Applin encounter. I think this time around, instead of apples and Applin, it's going to be party hats with the Kanto starters. Now, throughout the event, there's also going to be various bonuses depending on the day of the week. From July 1st until July 3rd, we're going to have a half egg hatch distance bonus. From July 3rd until July 5th, we're going to have a double experience bonus when you catch Pokemon. And then from July 5th until until the end of the event, we're going to have a double catch Stardust bonus, which is definitely a pretty big one. And then also there's going to be a second paid timed research that's going to be different from the Masterwork research. This one's going to cost $1.99 USD, and it's going to award you with 1 super incubator, 1 max mushroom, and an encounter with Gimme Ghoul holding a 9th anniversary coin. So basically for $1.99 USD, you're going to get yourself a Gimme Ghoul encounter, and yeah, it can potentially be shiny, and you're also going to be getting a super incubator, which in my opinion costs around $1 worth of Pokecoins to begin with. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good deal. It's definitely on the cheaper side, which I always will appreciate, and the fact that it does give you that Gimme Ghoul encounter, I think this one might actually be worth it. Alright, and finally, let's touch base on that Masterwork research. So, this is the same Masterwork research that we got several years ago regarding getting yourself a shiny Jirachi. For $4.99 USD, you're going to unlock a non-time limited Masterwork research where it's going to lead to an encounter with shiny Jirachi. Ticket holders will gain access to the Masterwork research story with the 9th anniversary event, and to receive the Masterwork research, you must open Pokemon Go at some point during the event. After you receive the Masterwork research, you can complete it at any time. Now, there's going to be players out there who have already completed the Masterwork research story and have already collected a shiny Jirachi. For those players, they're going to get double the incense duration, double the daily adventure incense duration, a really solid bonus, and you're also going to get double the duration on lucky eggs. Overall, I think this Masterwork research is definitely going to be worth it. For $5, you're getting yourself a shiny mythical. If you still do not have a shiny Jirachi and you never picked up the original Masterwork research, then you should definitely get it this time around, because there's no telling whether or not Niantic will ever bring this back to the game. Now, aside from this 9th anniversary event, we are also going to be getting a community day this coming weekend. And this is actually going to be a full weekend community day, which means we're going to have a community day on Saturday as well as Sunday. And the reason for that is because this time it's going to be a community day classic featuring the Pokemon Eevee. July Community Day Classic featuring the Pokemon Eevee is going to be happening on Saturday, July 5th and Sunday, July 6th from 2 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. local time. During these hours on both of these days, you're going to see a whole bunch of Eevee, and they're going to have an increased shiny chance. Now, if you evolve Eevee into any of the different evolutions, you're going to have the following attacks when you do it. For Jolteon, you're going to get the attack Zap Cannon, Espeon is going to gain the moves Shadow Ball, Leafeon is going to get Bullet Seed, which is a fast attack, Sylveon is going to get Psyshock, Vaporeon is going to get Scald, Flareon is going to get Superpower, Umbreon is going to get Psychic, and Glaceon is going to get Water Pulse. Just so you know, these are the Community Day moves for the second time around we had Eevee as a Community Day. So if you want any of these Pokemon with any of these particular moves, you will definitely want to evolve your Eevees during the Community Day hours. Honestly, you do not want to miss out on these, because there is a chance that one of them will become relevant in future metas when it comes to the Go Battle League. None of these moves are unfortunately going to be game changers when it comes to raid battles, but at least for PvP, you will want to make sure you have a couple of these on hand, because in the case that they become relevant, you will want to make sure you have it ready to go. Now, during this event, there's also going to be a purchasable special research ticket in the Pokeshop, which is going to give you 3 encounters with Eevee with a special background, as well as additional encounters with Eevee and its evolutions. You will also get a slew of different premium items that do add up to the value of the ticket, so if you have a couple of dollars to spare, it may not hurt to buy this special research ticket so that you have an enhanced experience. Now, during the event hours, you're going to have the following event bonuses. Every egg that you place in incubators is going to have a quarter egg hatch distance, and then lure modules and incense, excluding the daily adventure incense, is going to last for 3 hours. You're also going to get additional spawns when you take snapshots, and then the evolution requirements for Espeon, Umbreon, and Sylveon are going to be changed for a limited time. And then after the Community Day Classic ends, there's going to be a special timed research, which is going to give you Eevees with a special background. This is very typical of Community Days and Community Day Classics, and it's a great way for you to pick up some bonus Pokemon even after the event ends. And then finally, any field research task that you obtain during this event is going to give you Eevee encounters, Stardust, and Great Balls and additional items. And I will say that this is one of the most underrated aspects of community days as of late, because field research tasks do give you a much higher IV floor. So it's a great way for you to pick up Shundos and high IV shinies of the community day Pokemon, and it's something that I feel like a lot more players need to be aware of. Community days have essentially become limited research days with these field research tasks, and I really do think it's something you should utilize during the event so that you could pick up some high IV shinies. Honestly, it may not necessarily hurt to treat one of the days of this Community Day Classic as more like a limited research day where you're going to go around completing as many field research tasks as possible. So maybe you could go to a high population area like a city where there's a lot of Pokestops, and then the other day you could go to your local park to just simply catch as many Eevees as you possibly can. That would actually probably be my game plan for this particular community day. I would probably spend the first day doing as many field research tasks as possible to get as many high IV shinies as I can, and then I would spend the second day just simply farming up as much candy as I can. Alright, now that we've covered Eevee Community Day Classic, let's go over all of the weekly content. Let's first start off by talking about tonight's Max Monday, which is going to be from 6 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. local time. It's going to be featuring the Pokemon Shuckle, which is actually one of the more difficult max battles you can do. If you have the right counters and you have the best Pokemon, then you should definitely go for a few of these, but I will say it's not necessarily one of those that I would consider high priority. So maybe you could skip this one out and save all of your particles for something better, but just so you know, there is going to be a Max Monday featuring Dynamax Shuckle. And then next, let's go over the Spotlight Hour. So this Tuesday Spotlight Hour is actually going to be featuring Pikachu wearing a party hat. And yes, it is in conjunction with the 9th anniversary event. But there's also going to be a 2x catch Stardust bonus, which is actually one of the better Spotlight Hour bonuses that we get. You do not want to miss out on this one, especially if you need to replenish your Stardust after Pokemon GO Fest. I know I certainly do, because I spent a ton of Stardust this weekend, and I will need to get a lot of that Stardust back. So I do think this is a really opportune Spotlight Hour, and you should definitely not miss out on it. Next up, let's talk about the raiding content. So during this week in 5-star legendary raids, we are going to get the Swords of Justice Pokemon Cobalion. And that also means that for this Wednesday, July 2nd, from 6 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. local time, we will be getting a raid hour featuring Cobalion. Next up, let's talk about what's going to be spawning in Mega Evolution raids. So this week, from June 30th until July 8th, we're going to have Mega Aggron in Mega Evolution raids. This is actually a pretty decent steel type raid attacker, considering that it does have a lot of high defense. So if you want a Mega Evolution that's going to last in battle much longer, then Mega Aggron is actually a pretty good choice. Until we get Mega Metagross in the game, this is actually one of those types that there are not that many options when it comes to Mega Evolutions, and Mega Aggron is definitely one of the good ones. So if you do not have yourself the energy for a Mega Aggron, it might be worth doing a couple of these raids during this week until you do have the energy so that you can get yourself this Mega Evolution. And then finally, on the weekends, we're going to be getting Shadow Registeel in 5-star Shadow Legendary raids. I do know that this is a pretty decent Pokemon specifically for PvP, so if you want yourself a really good Ultra League Pokemon, then I do suggest you do a couple of these raids on this coming weekend. And then let's cap this off by talking about what's going to be active in the Go Battle League during this week. So until this Tuesday, we're going to have the continuation of the Great League, Ultra League, and Master League being active, but then afterwards, for the rest of the week, we're going to have the Open Great League along with the Element Cup Little Edition. So if you have any really good Pokemon for these teams, it's going to be a great time for you to do some battling, especially because we're going to have a full week of the Great League, which is, of course, one of the most popular leagues. So yeah, these are the things that are going to be happening this week in Pokemon Go, and I really do think you should not miss out on it. I do know that for most people, they tend to take it very easy right after Pokemon Go Fest, probably because they need to replenish their ball count and they need to get a lot of resources back, and yeah, I totally understand that, but I will say, because the rating content is pretty good, and with this 9th anniversary event, there's going to be reasons for you to continuously play Pokemon Go to a level where you're going to go all out, but that's just my personal opinion. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Definitely share your thoughts regarding everything that's going to be happening this week down below in the comments. Is there something in particular that you are looking forward to? Definitely share what that is. is, and let's have a great discussion. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget the notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. Real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the best way you can do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. If you decide to become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. And just like this past weekend with Go Fest, if you want to get a raid invite from me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, I highly encourage you to go to one of my social media pages. It's on one of the platforms you see on the bottom of your screen. My handle is @Jinsula. Make sure you give me a follow, and you'll have access to some exclusive content, as well as you'll be able to keep up with my daily life. With all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you all later.